Good day, I'm Dr. T, and welcome to my review of Settlement Survival. Settlement Survival is kind of in the vein of the games that I tend to review on this channel, in the kind of base building style. So you're trying to build up, in this case, a city or a community, and you need to meet the people's needs. If you do, more people move in, they have children, they survive. If you don't, well, they either leave and or die. And so, of course, you want to be successful. So this one is definitely doing a lot, and is really trying to, tackle a lot of things that I think they almost are biting off a little bit too much for one game. I see where they're going. I totally get where they're going, but they're biting off a lot. So for starters, they have day and night mode. So this is night mode. Very, very pretty. It's not the highest polygon count on the planet, but definitely pretty. Especially winter nights. These are gorgeous. You go through seasons. You actually get kind of a heads up of what's going on for the next 2 years up here, which is an interesting feature. I haven't seen that before, which is kind of nice to know what's coming in. And so, yeah, let's jump into this one. Once again, it's going for a lot of things, so it has a fairly complicated supply tree. As you'll notice over here, looks like I need a little bit more food. You'll notice over here, there are a lot of different potential things you can have. I mean, there is a lot of different materials and resources. I am just scratching the surface of these things. So, yeah. This is honestly a bit overwhelming. I get it, I like it, but it is definitely a bit overwhelming. Down here, you're building productions. Once again, you get quite a few of these to the point where you actually have to scroll through the menus. Seriously, designers, don't make me scroll. Now, a lot of this is like upgrades. So, Tailor's Workshop, Advanced Workshop, this could just be one button, and then once you build the Tailor's Workshop, just hit the upgrade button. That would make things a lot nicer. You've got, water-powered versus not water-powered. Okay, that can't be the same button. I totally get that. But you got a lot going on here. Of course, the water-powered is more powerful than the not water-powered. More efficient is actually what I should say. And you've got fairly complicated supply chains. So, like, I've got a leather-making workshop that is taking leather and salt, which are both produced at their own workshops from their source materials to make refined leather, which, where is this? Which I can then make into luxurious coats with feathers. There is a lot going on to make that coat. Now, obviously, this is kind of later game stuff. Early game stuff, it's much simpler. But for later game, yeah, you get a lot of stuff going on with that. So very complicated supply chains, which, I don't mind. Some of them I think are needlessly complicated. Like over here, I've got a printing facility making paper. I've got one making ink and then one making books. Okay, why on earth do I need coal to make ink? Ink at this time was done with lamp black, which is basically the soot from a candle. If I'm going to have a source, it would be candles. Not coal, but, okay, that's a random end here. And I wouldn't be using water for ink. I would be using some kind of drying oil. Sorry, that's the chemist in me just going on a tangent. But no, the fact that I need... Okay, I get the paper manufacturing being separate from the printing facility, and there's a lower grade, this is the upgraded version. There's a lower tier that just makes paper, which I would have just kept that. But I would have just had the printing facility just require the coal and water and paper to make a book, so I don't need two printing facilities. It's just kind of annoying. But you got a fairly complicated supply chain, almost a little too complicated, and that doesn't get to the most interesting part, because not only is there a supply chain, you also get a tech tree. And let me try and remember where the tech tree is. Oh, the big thing over here. You've got yourself a tech tree. And it's not the most organized tech tree either. What you'll notice is certain items you really need a lot of prerequisites for. So let's see, okay, over here in the forge, I need to be able to make glass. Okay, that's not the glass maker, nor is that. The glass maker is someplace else. I believe that's under construction. I don't remember where the glass maker is. Processing, maybe. Ah, this is embarrassing. Anyways, you'll notice how it wasn't directly linked into the glass maker. So what should be a tree, a nice branching tree, is a lot of very independent things. And what you can end up doing is using your hard-earned technology points on something, not realizing that you needed the prerequisites. Now, it does give you a heads up that you're missing something. So, like, there's no point going for silk because I don't have the mulberry leaves yet. So it does kind of give you a heads up that you're missing stuff. But then again, some of the stuff you're missing is optional. So, like, I have a chunk of meat. I don't think I have to have pork for this one. I'm going to need to have at least some of these. I don't have any butter on hand, although I do think I can make butter. So once again, really complicated tech tree. So that's... part of me likes this. I like the more advanced tech tree, or the more advanced supply chains. But the supply chain and the tech tree, it's just a little bit like, okay, what's going on here? Typically, when you have a tech tree, it's fitting one of two roles. Either the tech tree is really part of the tutorial, where it's not giving you access to everything at once. That way, you don't get overwhelmed by your resources until you learn how to utilize them. Or it's kind of in the Rise of Nations, Civilizations games, that kind of stuff, where part of your goal in playing is to run up the tech tree so you can overpower your opponents. So typically, if you have a tech tree, you're not going to have a complicated supply chain, because you're either trying to grow via supply chain or grow via tech tree, and doing both is just kind of awkward. So at least I want to see the tech tree be a real tech tree, not what it was seen there. That's it. Once again, I like this game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I played it quite a bit. I got up to, once again, a whole bunch of people. Definitely looks like I need more food. Speaking of food, okay, this is a complaint with almost all of these games, except for like Dawn of Man. Notice the ratio of farms. And by the way, those are just lumber farms. Notice the ratio of farms and food producers. So I've got a couple fishing docks over there. I've got some pastures where I'm growing some critters. I've got some gatherers, which the gathering stations are always way too OP in these games. Yeah, the ratio of houses to farmland, there is more land with houses on it than there is farmland. That's ridiculous. You need lots of land for farms. Even with modern day farming, you need lots of land. And anything pre, 1930, you're going to need a lot of land to do farming. So the ratio of people doing agriculture to people doing not agriculture is really unrealistic. And so that's something I really would like to see happen with this game. And with basically all games like this. I understand it's a worker placement game, but I really shouldn't need all of these people getting reeds. Okay, I don't need all of these people getting reeds. I went nuts with the reeds. But still, I should have a lot of people doing the farming and then doing something else. This is one of the things where Dawn of Man was like the only one I've seen to really get this right. Like, everyone does the farming when the farming is doing, and then people do everything else when the farming is not doing. So, yeah, should you get it? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting take. It's got a lot of things to think about. They're definitely playing into the whole radius mechanics. Like, you've got your marketplaces, and those have a radius around them. You have to build your houses within that radius. I like the way that's taking place. It's kind of doing the whole banished market, but now actually like locking you into it, which I kind of like. They do have houses that you don't have to build by the market, but most of them you do. I like the complicated supply chains, even though it looks like 5 people are going to starve here shortly. I do like the complicated supply chains, but I think between this complicated supply chain and the tech tree, it's just a bit much. Also, the boats come in like once a year. I really would like to see more boats, to be honest. The trade in this game basically might as well not be there. You do a little bit of trade, not a ton. I would like to be able to rely more on trade, get a boat a couple of times a year, that kind of thing, which would make things a little bit more, I think interesting for folks. Okay, sorry, got distracted on the bread workshop. This is just built. I hadn't actually seen the bread workshop. Okay, people, where is... You don't need jam for this. This is weird. Once again, the supply chain. If I'm making cookies, biscuits, yeah, I'm going to need sugar. But where's just bread? where seriously is just bread? Flour, water, salt. In Europe, they're like literally, if you have anything other than those, you can't call it bread. If you have more than a tiny amount of sugar, it's not bread. There's a great lawsuit involving Subway claiming that their bread was not actually bread because it had too much sugar. It was a brioche. But anyways, okay. So yeah, should you get it? If you like this type of game, it's worth getting. Maybe wait till it's on sale. I didn't. Maybe wait till it's on Steam sale, but to be honest, it's perfectly playable. I did enjoy it, and as you can see, it's pretty. I mean, this is downright pretty. So for that alone, it's definitely nice. It's definitely quirky, to say the least. It's not a bad game, but it is definitely a quirky game. So, yeah. Once again, I encourage you, pick up this guy and have a wonderful time playing.